obviously the company has benefited from stronger international tea and coffee prices. Last year you also had drought conditions which affected crops, but you have had quite nice rains this year. So you're really getting help from all sides, aren't you?
Yes, certainly. We have certainly benefited from the good weather. But also I'd like to point out, Stephen, that we've got two products, tea and coffee. And last year our tea production was not as much affected by the drought because of the area in which we are located in. We're very fortunate. We're located west of the Rift Valley. And in that particular area, the drought conditions did not affect us so much because we normally get the rainfall from Lake Victoria area, convectional rainfall from Lake Victoria, while east of the Rift Valley is where the drought really affected them. So we are somehow quite fortunate in that regard.
How about the exchange rate? Has that also been playing in your favour?
The exchange rate has been quite good in our favor. It has been hovering around the 77 mark to the US dollar, and this has been quite okay. In fact, this is what we expected when we began the year, and it has hung around that particular region. So we cannot complain about the exchange rate at all. So the weather has been on our side, the commodity prices have been on our side, and the exchange rate has been on our side. But also, Stephen, I'd just like to mention that we have as a company, we've identified particular drivers for driving our profitability, and these include marketing initiatives. You see, if we can do some good direct marketing, for example, of coffee, we can easily get much better margins on the crop, and this we've been doing. We've also got quality improvement initiatives in place because this also affects the prices. And we've also got a very specific organizational-wide initiative which involves efficiency and an organizational culture of ownership, innovation, and really trying to get all our people to engage with the business. So all these initiatives are helping us along.
Can you say in the commentary that comes with the results, obviously tea and coffee prices have been rising since last year, but just in the last few days, coffee prices have fallen quite badly globally, and really due to the risk aversion that we're seeing in the broader financial markets. So it's quite bizarre to think that what's happening in banks and governments across Europe is going to affect your products, but it will affect demand if we do slip back into a recession. How are you viewing that going forward?
Yeah, in fact, it's very interesting, Stephen, that when I was here last year, and the question was asked whether the financial crisis, worldwide financial crisis, is going to affect demand for our products. And I think at that time I said our products, we believe, are income inelastic because they're really everyday products, and people continue consuming them even if their incomes are a little bit tight. We still are somehow cautiously optimistic that despite what happens globally in terms of financial issues, we still feel that there's a decent demand for our products, Stephen. So I still stand by this.
You haven't seen any drop in demand coming from your export markets?
I wouldn't say that we've seen a drop in demand. In fact, if anything, there's been a lot of inquiries for our products. And you see, the unique thing is that Kenyan coffee and tea is a very unique product. It's a very good quality product based on the growing conditions in this country. So we produce very good Arabica coffee. We produce very good teas which are in high demand all over the world. And in fact, the challenge is the quantities that are available nationally are not that much, but it's a very good quality which is used for blending with for example, coffees from other regions. So the demand remains.
Well, having said all that, and given the weather conditions have improved, what are your prospects for the remainder of the financial year for the 6-month period we're currently operating in?
Yeah, well, the prospects are quite good. On the tea side, tea requires rainfall throughout the year, and we know that with this rainfall there will be increasing supply of tea. We hope that the prices can hold. Possibly there may be a slight tapering down of the prices in the tea sector. In relation to coffee, coffee was slightly affected by the drought last year, and the harvest that we got this year was slightly affected. But also coffee is a little bit more unique in that it is affected by various weather conditions, and rain at a particular time may not be the best thing for coffee. We now have a lot of rain, and we unfortunately this rain may not translate to a greater crop production in the coming years. For example, next year. But for the rest of the year, we expect that we're gonna get quite some coffee. So we think that the outlook is fairly positive.
Well, looking perhaps outside of your main tea and coffee operations, perhaps at some of the other smaller operations, agriculture, yes. You have dairy, tourism, retailing. How have they been operating during this period?
Very quickly, I can mention that we have a diversification strategy, and we've got other lines of business which generate some income for us. I just want to mention one is the Savannah Coffee Lounges, for example, which are a very important public aspect of our business. These have been doing quite well. We've opened, in the last 6 months, we've opened one extra one in Nairobi. We plan to open 2 more in Nairobi, and they're contributing to the bottom line and our cash position. This is a very unique business because it's really a cash business, and it does generate cash on a daily basis. We've also had the retail products. Now, unfortunately, with increasing commodity prices, the retail products tend to get their margins squeezed because the price increases cannot be passed on immediately to the consumer. So we've taken a little bit of a hit on our retail products. In relation to dairy, currently with the weather conditions that we have in Kenya, there's been an oversupply of dairy products in the market. So we've had a drop in dairy prices, so the contribution we've been getting from dairy has been slightly reduced. So these are the main lines of business that we're looking at, and they've been affected by different aspects of the economy and the conditions that we're operating in. But as I said earlier, probably tea and coffee is still our main line of business, and the others really supplement us. And hopefully we plan to grow. Looking forward, we would like to grow these other lines of business because I think they're very important and they're part of our strategy to diversify our income base.